Howdy there once again, YouTube. My name is Ben Ferraiuolo, and I am a beginner amateur seismologist who hopes to someday become a professional seismologist tuned more to volcanic activity rather than tectonic activity. In other words, a volcanic seismologist. But, most volcanic seismologists also work on tectonic activity too. Please like, share, subscribe, and visit my website, https://monitorsize.weebly.com, for information on how to discover seismic data, download and analyze it, different types of earthquake events, my own personal blog, and much more. Here's the webcam for the Upper Geyser Basin where Old Faithful resides. This is also where a lot of the hydrothermal changes have been taking place as of late. Steamboat Geyser, which resides over 19 miles northeast of Old Faithful here, has officially erupted 23 times. We are running out of days in the year, guys! We needed to erupt 6 more times to reach the record, and 7 more times to beat the record of 29 eruptions in 1 year, which occurred in the year 1964. This video will be about the recent large rapid-fire earthquakes that occurred off the coast of Vancouver Island last night, my 3 recent blog posts, which briefly covers the 4.0 earthquake that recently occurred in northern Texas, the seismic activity at Yellowstone from October 19th through the 20th, and the 2 recent earthquakes to occur at the southern tip of Yellowstone Lake on October 21st, 2018. Since most people that view my videos don't even visit my website, God knows why, I usually like to make a video about any recent blog posts that I've uploaded about anything interesting. By the way, I heard some people freaked out because all the seismic stations at Yellowstone got taken down. I have heard multiple conflicting stories, but in regards to the seismographs and seismological data, nothing has been taken down or suppressed. All seismic data is still streaming and is still accounted for. Trust me, I would have been ticked off if all the stations in the WY and PB networks went down. Now that would not be good. But now I'm hearing the only stations affected were tilt and GPS deformation instruments, not seismic monitoring stations like some people thought. I'm still trying to figure out what is what, and I swear, the uplift data for Yellowstone better be there by the end of the month when I do my monthly volcano update. So, for this video, I will first talk about the recent large earthquakes to occur in rapid succession off the coast of Vancouver Island. Remember, if anyone wants any custom-made helicorders or any custom-made seismogram spectrogram analysis images from anywhere in the United States, including Alaska and Hawaii, please let me know. They are quick and easy to make and may assist some of you who are having a hard time finding what you want. Once again, let's start with Vancouver Island. And hey, they have it zoomed in to Old Faithful. They rarely zoom into the actual Old Faithful crater right here. And where the hydrothermal changes are taking place are right back here on Geyser Hill. Right along this line, right here. And there are some dead trees back there. I don't know if those have been dead the whole time, or if this is new. I don't know. So we'll keep an eye on this, that's for sure. But real quick, before I get to the earthquakes that occurred right up here off the coast of Vancouver Island, I want to show that there has been a good-sized increase in sulfur dioxide near some volcanoes in Oregon. Now, let's take the coordinates and see what is there on Google Earth. So let's try to go to the center. It is coming from about this area right here. Let's look at the wind patterns just real quick, see where it's going. Let's see here if it'll go. Come on. So it's coming from right around here and here as well. It seems to have died down a little bit because let's go back 3 hours. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at how high this is, guys. 102, 91, 120. Guys, that's very high. Very, very high. So let's take these coordinates of where this is occurring. Copy. Let's go down to Google Earth real quick. I think I already have the coordinates plugged in, but let's redo them. Paste. Search. Okay. So it is coming from right here. Alright. So it seems a large swath of land centered right about this area right here is putting out a lot of sulfur dioxide, a lot more than what you would expect to see from a mine or a quarry. Also notice Crater Lake Volcano is right here. You see that's Crater Lake Caldera. And then we have some odd looking crater. Do you see this circular pattern right here? This odd looking crater, which kind of almost looks like an asteroid impact. And guess what is up north? Just right here. That is Newberry Caldera. So we do have a lot of SO2 being released near well-known volcanic areas. You can even see some other small lava flows right around this area right here. And it almost looks like 2 eyes. You see this as an indent right here? but then an even more obvious indent right here. And then we have another indent right down here. So yeah, so this area is very volcanic in Earth's history, and we do have definitely got some lava flows right here. Very old though, very, very old. But it just goes to show you that this area has the potential for large volcanic activity. Lava flows, ash eruptions, anything. And you know, volcanoes have to start somewhere, right? So why haven't we seen any brand new volcanoes popping up? Well, we have. Kilauea shifted all of its magma towards the Lower East Rift Zone in May and June of this year and pretty much created its own brand new volcano miles away from the summit of Kilauea. So we'll keep an eye on this, but yes, we do have a large increase in sulfur dioxide right near Crater Lake, just about east-southeast of Crater Lake, right down here, in this area right here. So here we are at earthquakes.usgs.gov, and here are the earthquakes that occurred last night off the coast of Vancouver Island. You can see their location here. Here's Washington State, here's Seattle, right here, and here are these earthquakes. Let me move this over. Okay. There seems to have been a good-sized increase in seismic activity last night. So far as the time I am recording this, which is 1:08 p.m. Pacific Time, October 22nd, 2018, they are reporting 7 earthquakes for this location right here. Now, this sequence started with reportedly a magnitude 6.6 at 11 kilometers in depth, a magnitude 6.8, which I believe is more like a 7.0, so that was a pretty large earthquake, guys, and then a magnitude 6.5. The thing that really caught my attention was how quick these large earthquakes occurred, out of nowhere, too. These 3 earthquakes, including the 6.8, which was probably more like a 7.0, occurred only 40 minutes within each other. That is very fast, guys. See, 5:39 UTC was the 6.6, and the 6.5 occurred at 6:22 UTC. So that's about 40 minutes or so. That is a very short time period for these 3 large earthquakes. So, what is going on? There is also a magnitude 4.9 at 6:36 UTC, a 4.3 at 7:13 UTC, a 4.4 at 8:43 UTC, and a 5.2 at 16:27 UTC. This was the most recent right here. Apparently people did feel every single one of these earthquakes except the 4.3 right there. Yeah, pretty interesting, guys. Also, it seems that let me go over here just a little bit. It seems that there was an earthquake not too far from me last night, right over here in Carnation, Washington. It was reportedly a magnitude 2.1 earthquake, 6 kilometers east of Carnation, Washington, at, I think that says 13.3 kilometers in depth. A few people did report feeling it. So that's interesting, because Carnation doesn't have that many earthquakes. So where is this leading? I have no idea. And by the way, I live right at the tip of the mouse, right there. So I wouldn't be surprised if I felt it either. That's a very short distance to my house. But, you know, I had a feeling something had to be approaching soon. There's no specific reason, I had a feeling. Here we are at isthisthingon.org/Yellowstone. You could clearly see the 3 major earthquakes showed up pretty well on the seismographs of Yellowstone. Look at that. Wowza, guys. Let's just take a quick look real quick. Yeah, look at that. It was very strong, guys. Here we are at the seismic program Swarm for seismic station MCID. Short period vertical in the seismic network WY, location code 01. Here are the earthquakes right here. Very strong, going past 10,000 amplitude count, even though it occurred off the coast of Vancouver Island, and this is here at Yellowstone. So yeah, guys, it was very strong. Very strong earthquakes. Look at that. My goodness. Let's go to the third one, and here's the third one. I believe this right here was the 6.8. Here's the spectrogram view of this event. Look at that, guys. Look at that. Yeah, it lasted a long time. Really shook up the world, too. Like, holy crap. Keep going, and here's the secondary increase of energy showing the arrival of the third earthquake, which was reportedly a, 6.5, I believe. So here's the 6.5, here's the 6.8, which I believe is a 7.0, and here was the original 6.6. Very interesting, guys. Yeah, look how long it lasted, too. Man, it just, woo-wee! Man, it shook up everything. I wouldn't be surprised if we felt it here in Seattle, just barely. And then I believe the recent 5.2 that occurred was this one right here. Oh, let me real quick. There we go. Yep, it was this one right here. Look at that. So, we do have an increase in seismic activity near the Cascadia subduction zone, but the northern portion of it near Vancouver Island. Now, let's look at the seismic data real quick for borehole 012, which resides right here on Vancouver Island. Again, here's Seattle. Here's where the earthquakes occurred, which would be right about in this location. And this is borehole 012, which resides right here on Vancouver Island. This was the closest seismic station I could find to the large earthquake sequence that occurred last night off the coast of Vancouver Island. So let's go back to Swarm real quick, turn this off, and here we are at borehole 012 on Vancouver Island, which I believe was closest to the earthquake event. Here it is, right here. There is the original 6.6 earthquake. It keeps glitching, sorry. There it is, right there. Keep going. And then the 6.8 to occur afterwards, which I believe was a 7.0, is right here. God, it keeps glitching. There we go. Man, I gotta be so exact. And then the secondary increase in energy right here, showing the arrival of the 6.6. Right there. And then here is the 5.2 that occurred most recently. This is the most recent earthquake in this location to occur right here. So let's turn on the spectrogram real quick. There they are. Ooh, wow. Very strong event. So is this signaling something else could be approaching? Could this be shifting pressure down farther south towards Oregon and California? Who knows? So, wasn't that interesting? I wonder why all was quiet, and then boom! Multiple large earthquakes striking within about an hour or so. Does that mean there may be some unrelieved pressure still? It is concerning, though, to see these appear in such rapid succession with such large magnitudes. Now, remember the Japan 2011 megaquake? Well, that megaquake actually saw many foreshocks, and of course thousands of aftershocks. Now, I'm not saying that is going to happen here, but I'm just trying to show that just because there are large earthquakes occurring doesn't mean all the pressure has been relieved. So hopefully this did relieve most of the pressure, but it could also have transferred pressure down to the Oregon-California border. So we will see how this progresses. I will issue another update tomorrow if anything major changes with the Cascadia subduction zone or Yellowstone or anything. Now let's move on to the recent 4.0 earthquake that struck northern Texas. Here we are at my website, and this is my blog. Let's read it real quick. Here's the information for the 4.0 in Texas. Hey guys, sorry I haven't been doing many blog posts lately. I know probably almost nobody reads my blog posts since my website here gets very low views, but I still like to post stuff that interests me. I have been doing more YouTube videos lately than blog posts. Of course, this website contains a lot of information already that has nothing to do with my blog. I am looking for new suggestions for new pages to add to this website, so please feel free to email me or comment below if the comment box is working. Now, Texas felt a magnitude 4.0 earthquake at 5.3 kilometers in depth, just 15 kilometers north-northeast of Amarillo, Texas, on October 20th, 2018. The two images directly below show the basic information provided by USGS and the location of this earthquake. As of the time I am writing this, over 1,055 people have reported feeling this quake. That means many more actually felt it, since not everybody reports to the USGS. Now, it says, please click the title of this blog post. Usually I put this in there. Please click the title of this article or click read more to read the rest of this post. Alright, so here's the location. This is the northern tip of Texas. And you can see it occurred almost right in the center. Now, the seismic analysis image shown here, containing both the seismogram and spectrogram of this event, is taken from seismic station SMWD in the TX network. Since this data was taken from a broadband vertical station, I set a 0.9 Hz high-pass filter to filter out all frequencies below 0.9 Hz to make it, quote-unquote, look more like a short-period station. Note the amount of time for this earthquake was quite long, almost 5 minutes long. Directly below the analysis image is also an image of the helicorder for this station and time period. Thank you for your reading, and have a great day. And let's scroll down, TXSMWD 0.9 filter hertz. And here is the helicorder that I generated from this seismic station, and you can clearly see the 4.0 earthquake right there. Now, let's real quick move on to the recent seismic activity at Yellowstone supervolcanic caldera in northwest Wyoming. Let's start with October 19th through the 20th. October 19th through the 20th, 2018, Yellowstone seismicity. Hey there guys, in this blog post I'm simply going to show some helicorders and seismogram spectrogram analysis images of recent seismicity at Yellowstone caldera for 0 UTC, October 19, 2018, to about 2110 UTC, October 20th, 2018, since that is the time that I am writing this blog post. Remember, before daylight savings time ends, 0 UTC would be 5 p.m., 1700 Pacific time. After daylight savings time ends, which is in about 2 weeks or so, 0 UTC will then become 4 p.m. 1600 Pacific time. I know it sounds confusing, but it is really easy to figure out. Now, with all the hydrothermal changes still occurring at Yellowstone, it is surprising seismicity has remained low. It has been low in regards to what we should see during these hydrothermal changes. Nevertheless, I am still sticking to my theory that a major earthquake swarm still could be approaching. Please monitor this area with me. Now, since the seismicity for this time period remained near the Maple Creek area, which would be northwest Yellowstone, I will be using seismic stations YMC, Maple Creek, and seismic station YHH, Holmes Hill, both short period vertical, for this analysis. However, since most of the earthquakes appeared best on YMC, I will use only seismic station YMC for the spectrogram seismogram analysis images. Both stations are short period vertical again, and remember to always pay attention to chart labels first before you read the data. Also, remember you always must pay attention to time period, which is recorded usually horizontally, frequency ranges on spectrograms, which is usually recorded vertically, and amplitude counts for seismogram waveform analysis images, and amplitude counts are obviously recorded vertically, obviously. And all times are in UTC as usual. First, I will show the helicorders for this time period for YMC and YHH, and then I will show the seismogram spectrogram analysis images. Now, I'm not going to show the seismogram spectrogram image for every single earthquake that occurred. However, I will try to show the majority of them. You know, you could do this stuff yourself, even with a simple understanding of seismology. My website here helps you to do that, so feel free to browse my site. Enjoy. Now let's start. Here is YHH, short period vertical. There's the helicorder for YHH. Here's the second helicorder for YHH for the next day. Here is YMC. You can see a few microquakes in there. Let's go down. Here's YMC for the next day. A few larger earthquakes. Alright, images directly below are from YMC for October 19th, 2018. Here's the first one, reaching to 10,000 amplitude count with a maximum frequency range of about 15 hertz, with weaker frequencies going up to about 25 hertz. Let's go down. 2 earthquakes occurring in about a 1-minute time frame, however they do not surpass 1,000 amplitude count, and the frequency is about mid-range, so they were very small. Let's go down here. Here's another small microquake, about 2,300 amplitude count, I'm guessing. So maybe a 0.6, possibly? I don't know. Let's go down. Here we are for the last one that I reported for October 19th. And it did not go past about 2,300 amplitude count. So maybe another 0.6 right there. The images directly below are from YMC for October 20th, 2018. Here is one of the larger earthquakes, which was, I believe, a 2.5. I'm guessing, I think it was a 2.5. Doesn't really go past 30,000 too much, so I'm guessing it would be around 2.5. But it occurred near Maple Creek because it showed on Maple Creek the best out of all the surrounding seismic stations, but it still had a dominant frequency range that did not surpass about 15 hertz. But of course, weaker frequencies did reach well beyond 25 hertz for that one. 2 very small microquakes occurring in about, I'm going to say, 40-second time frame right there. Here's the second largest event to occur on this day. Did not surpass about 20,000, I'm going to say actually it did not surpass about 22,000 amplitude count. So I'm guessing this was probably around a 1.8 maybe. Again, notice the dominant frequencies do not really go past 15 Hz, but weaker frequencies do. Another smaller microquake, which appears to be slightly emergent. Do you see that? It's slightly emerged, but it showed on surrounding seismographs. So you could tell there's obvious P and S wave arrivals, showing that this was an earthquake. Here is another earthquake that occurred. Very small one. Did not go past about 2,300 amplitude count, I'm guessing. And again, mid-range frequencies. Even the weaker frequencies didn't even go past 25 Hz. So this one was a smaller earthquake. And again, we have two small microquakes here. This one did not surpass about 2,100 amplitude count. So I'm guessing this could be a 0.5 maybe. And then I'm guessing this could be like a 0.1. Very small. And again, notice the mid-range frequencies. So there did seem to be an increase of seismic activity on October 19th and 20th for Yellowstone. There were also two earthquakes in close proximity to one another on October 21st, 2018, the next day. Now, let's go check that out now. Magnitude 2.7 at Yellowstone Lake on October 21st, 2018. Hey there again, I am briefly going to show the helicopters and seismogram spectrogram analysis images for the two earthquakes that recently occurred at Yellowstone on October 21st, 2018. These two earthquakes occurred in a very random spot. Usually we see the majority of larger earthquakes, magnitude 2.0 and above, occur either near the Maple Creek Hebgen Lake area, the Norris area, or the northern tip of Yellowstone Lake and West Thumb Lake. However, today, these two earthquakes appear to have occurred at the southern tip of Yellowstone Lake, just 2.7 miles south-southwest of seismic station YTP. So on October 21st, 2018, Yellowstone saw only two noticeable earthquakes. I mean, there were a few other very tiny, probably micro-minis, as I like to call them, negative microquakes, like probably negative 0.2 or something, very tiny other microquakes, but I'm only focusing on the two noticeable ones right here. In the images below, and the tiny image above, you can see the magnitude 2.7 earthquake accompanied by another smaller earthquake right after. So far, USGS and University of Utah only decided to report the magnitude 2.7 earthquake. They have yet to report the smaller earthquake that occurred only 1 minute and 10 seconds after the original 2.7. The earthquake was reportedly a magnitude 2.7 earthquake at 7.3 kilometers in depth on October 21st, 2018 at 2107 UTC. As you can see directly below, this earthquake occurred 43 kilometers east-southeast of Old Faithful Geyser. This location is at the southern tip of Yellowstone Lake. You see this? And the epicenter occurred only 4.3 kilometers, 2.7 miles, southwest of seismic station YTP, the promontory, which is right about here. Since seismic station YTP was the station closest to this event, I will use it for any seismogram spectrogram analysis images I show below. Also below are two seismic helicorders, one for YTP and one for YLT, West Thumb. Please don't forget to pay attention to the captions beneath any images. This is the location of the reported 2.7 earthquake in relation to Yellowstone Lake. It is in a very strange spot. Notice the peninsula the earthquake dot rests on? Seismic station YTP is just on the tip of this peninsula right there. See? YTP is on the tip of the peninsula. As you can see, here's the peninsula right there. Seismic station locations can also be found by going to the IRIS MDA list, clicking network map of a random network, entering the network you want, in this case WY, and clicking update map. Now, if you guys need that link, just let me know and I'll send it to you, if I forget to put it in the description box below. Here's seismic station, YLT. There's the helicorder. You can see the two earthquakes right here. There are two other microquakes right here and one other microquake right here, but they're very small. Let's go down. Here's YTP. You can again see those two microquakes there and here. And do you see this right here? Why aren't I talking about this? Well, I will in a second. I'll get to this in just a second. There are those two earthquakes in close succession. Alright, here's the earthquake they reported. It was reportedly a magnitude 2.7, which struck at 7.3 kilometers in depth. Note the earthquake does contain high frequencies, but the dominant frequencies max out at about 15 Hz, even though the seismic station that recorded this, YTP, was only 2.7 miles northeast of the epicenter. So why is it showing such a low dominant frequency range? Usually high frequency earthquakes have a higher dominant frequency range, especially with this strong of an earthquake this close to the seismic station I'm gathering data from. Here's the earthquake USGS and the U of U have yet to report. It occurred literally only 1 minute and 10 seconds after the magnitude 2.7 occurred. I am unsure of the depth, since I'm still unable to determine depth by myself, since guys, I'm still a beginner at all this. But since it maxed out at about 21,000 amplitude count or so, I would say that this was about a magnitude 1.8 earthquake. Since the arrivals on surrounding stations appear similar to that of the 2.7, I think it is safe to say that this occurred very close to where the original 2.7 struck, maybe even the same exact location. Also note the frequency range seems to be almost identical to the magnitude 2.7. Now some people might wonder why I did not talk about the quote-unquote earthquakes that occurred at about 0046 UTC, October 22nd, 2018, which would be this right here. Those look like earthquakes, don't they? Well, let's go back down and look at them real quick. You could clearly see them on the helicopters. Well, that is because they are not earthquakes at all. These seismic stations in this area, including YLT, have been seeing some short, sporadic electronic malfunctions. Just looking at the helicopters, you could say that I am lying, since they really do look like earthquakes. But by zooming in, shown in this image directly above, right here, you could tell these events are clearly electronic in nature. Maybe a little static electricity affected the seismographs, because these malfunctions are strangely showing up at almost the same exact times on multiple surrounding seismographs. So they're not earthquakes, but maybe some static electricity affected them? Who knows? Thank you again for your time, and I hope you have a great day. It does seem seismic activity has been slowly increasing since hydrothermal changes began around mid-September. Remember how there were 3 rapid succession earthquake swarms for the month of August alone in West Thumb? Well, one more happened just recently. I did a video on that, I'll try to put a link to it below, but it was very small. Besides that, there have been some small swarming up near the Maple Creek Hebgen Lake area, but nothing major. It did seem like in the last monthly volcano update that uplift could be starting again. If so, and combined with more intense hydrothermal changes, any major swarms should be monitored closely. I have a passion for Yellowstone, so don't worry. If anything seismically major occurs, I will be on top of it. So if you guys want to be ahead of some of these videos, at least the videos I do about my blog posts, then please check back every once in a while to https://monitorsize.weebly.com and monitor my blog. Check back every day or so for new content. It is much easier to create a blog post than to create a video, so blog posts are my favorite way of getting information to you. My website is not just about blog posts, however. It shows you also how to correctly read seismograms, how to correctly read spectrograms and spectral plots, how to download seismic data and analyze it in the programs that I use every day, how to differentiate between different seismic events, and much more. Please join me in accurately and passionately monitoring volcanic hazard areas throughout the United States. Even though I talk about Yellowstone and Long Valley supervolcanoes the most, since they are my passion, I still review daily data, and I mean almost all data, every day, for multiple volcanoes including Mount Rainier, Newberry in Oregon, Mount Hood, Yellowstone and Long Valley of course, and a few other select volcanoes. I even spend hours each day and night sifting through seismic data for any telltale signs of renewed volcanic activity. Trust me, YouTube is just a side thing. I'm just doing this just to put out the information to you guys. Most of my time, my free time, goes to hanging out with the kids and doing my research. And I do hours and hours of research. Usually I wait until the kids go to bed, and then once they're asleep, or my wife comes home from work and she goes to sleep and everyone's asleep, man, I spend hours doing this stuff, guys. Sometimes I'm up late in the middle of the night, sometimes 3 in the morning doing this stuff. And it's more research into seismic activities than, caring about YouTube views or YouTube subscribers. Don't get me wrong. I'd love to get more subscribers and more views so the truth can get out there, so all this information can get out there. But it's not what I'm focused on, like other YouTubers. Other YouTubers are focused on more views, rival YouTubers, stupid crap like that. But I really don't care, because all I do is find the information and put it out for you guys to see, and hopefully I do a good job explaining it. Hopefully. And remember, I'm still a beginner at all this, guys. I'm still actively learning and still have a lot to learn. I thank you all for your time, and I hope you have a wonderful day. God bless. Remember, the truth is considered hate or fear to those who hate or fear the truth. Ben Ferraiuolo signing off. Keep your eye out for more earthquakes or even a possible megaquake. I hope not. I pray that it won't happen. Let's pray that everything stays calm and nice. See you later, guys.